Kia ora first years whānau. Today I will be telling the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Now you might have noticed I didn't say I'm going to be reading the story because I'm actually going to be telling the story with this and some of these. We all know the story and it goes a little bit like this. Please bear with me if it doesn't work out perfectly because I've not done this before. Once upon a time, in a house in the forest lived three bears. There was a mummy bear, there was a daddy bear, and there was a baby bear. They lived happily in their little house in the forest. One day, Daddy Bear was making his delicious special breakfast of porridge. He mixed up the oats and milk, and he mixed in other delicious things too, like cinnamon and nutmeg and apple and sugar, and it was all delicious. And he set out 3 bowls of food. A big one for himself, because he was a little bit greedy. A medium one for Mama Bear, and a tiny one for Baby Bear. Now, the porridge was set out and looking delicious, but it was a bit hot. So because it was too hot, the bears thought, why don't we go for a walk? And that's what they did. Whoop, not down there. They went for a walk up here. They left the house and went off singing. Mummy Bear went off singing la 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 for a walk in the forest. Father Bear went off singing la 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 la, and Baby Bear went off singing la 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 la. Goodbye. Now, unbeknownst to them, without them knowing, there was somebody else in the woods that day. A very cheeky someone who'd wandered far from home and was having a little bit of an explore. Her name was Goldilocks. She came across their lovely little house in the woods, and she peeked in the windows and knocked on the door very quietly. Nobody answered. So she went inside. As soon as she went inside, she was hit with the delicious smell of Daddy Bear's special porridge. She sniffed, delicious. And she called out, is anyone there? Is anyone there? But of course the bears were out for their walk and nobody answered. So she tiptoed over to the table and took a small bite of the biggest bowl of porridge, Daddy Bear's porridge. La 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 la. Yum 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 yum. Bleh! It was too salty. Bleh, bleh, bleh. Who put salt in porridge? Ugh. She went over to Mummy Bear's porridge. Yum 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 yum. But it was too sweet. Ugh. Bleh, bleh. You can have too much of a good thing. Instead, she went over to Baby Bear's porridge. Oh, yum! Yum, 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 and ate it all up. After that, Goldilocks realised that she was a little bit tired. So she came over to sit down in one of these lovely looking chairs. First, she came over to sit on Daddy Bear's chair. Oh, too hard. Ugh. Then she tried Mummy Bear's chair. Oh, too soft. She was falling right into it. Then she tried Baby Bear's chair. Oh, just right. So comfortable. And she leaned back and crack! The chair broke. Oops, said Goldilocks. instead of leaving or writing a note saying, "I'm very, very sorry," she looked to see what other mischief she could make. She went upstairs. And upstairs she found 3 beds. There was a big bed, a middle-sized bed, and a tiny bed. First she tried the big bed. Oh, boy. Ah, my back! Oh, that was not nice at all. It was far too hard. Next she tried the middle-sized bed. Boing, 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 boing. Oh, too soft. She could barely get out of it. Finally, she tried the small bed. Ah, so good. It was perfect. So perfect, in fact, that she lay down and fell fast asleep straight away. Meanwhile, on the other side of the woods, not on the other side of the woods, outside the house, the 3 bears had just come home from their lovely walk in the morning. Isn't it good to take a walk in the morning? Very good for you, very healthy. La, 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 sang Daddy Bear. La, 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 sang Mummy Bear. La, 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 sang Baby Bear. Or screeched if you prefer. They came into their lovely house. And what did they find? Things were not as they should be. "Someone has been eating my porridge," said grumpy Daddy Bear. He wasn't always grumpy. But if somebody had been eating his food, he was grumpy, definitely. "Somebody's been eating my porridge," said Mummy Bear. She was grumpy herself. Baby Bear rushed over. "Somebody's been eating my porridge, and they've eaten it all up." Next, they noticed their chairs. A bit hard not to, because they were right next to the table. Daddy Bear looked at his chair. It was slightly creased, and the pillow wasn't sitting right. "Somebody's been sitting in my chair," said Daddy Bear. Mummy Bear looked at her chair. There was definitely a mark, an indentation. Somebody had been sitting there. "Somebody's been sitting in my chair." Then Baby Bear came over to his chair. "Somebody's been sitting in my chair and they broke it." Poor Baby Bear. They looked around to see if they could see any sign of the intruder. They looked and looked, couldn't find anyone downstairs. "Let's go upstairs," said Baby Bear. So they all went upstairs. Daddy and Mummy Bear went into their room. "Somebody's been sleeping in my bed," said Daddy Bear. He could smell them. "Somebody's been sleeping in my bed," said Mummy Bear. She could tell that the pillows weren't right. "Somebody's been sleeping in my bed," said Baby Bear, "and she's still there." At Baby Bear's crying, Goldilocks woke up and found 3 angry bears staring at her. So she jumped up, threw open the window, and jumped out. Hurt her leg, but kept running away through the forest. Well, the 3 bears looked out of the window, growling, knowing that they wouldn't catch her, but knowing that they would definitely catch her if she ever came back. So, the moral of the story. For Goldilocks, the moral of the story was that you shouldn't break into people's houses. If you come to somebody's house and the door is locked, it's okay to knock sometimes, but it's not okay to go in. That can make people very, very angry at you. and it's not fair on them. The moral for the 3 bears was that you need to be a little less trusting, even if you live in the forest. The 3 bears learnt to lock their front door and all their windows, and always look out for little blonde girls coming to eat their porridge. The end. Hope you're having a wonderful day, and I hope you liked the story. See you later.